done with. First of all, I messed up on Monday and gave you the wrong assignment in MathSpace, which is part of why things were so confusing. It was supposed to be the percentage of quantities assignment. I accidentally did percent composition, but they both cover things that we've already gone through on the actual interactive notebook. So most of what we're going to be doing today is kind of like we did last week, where it's going to be mostly a work day where as long as you're caught up, as soon as you finish the assignment, you'll be able to take off. But I want to do a couple of example problems before we get going. That way everybody will hopefully know. If you did the IXL, it was the correct assignment. But if you did the MathSpace, I gave you today's assignment on Monday, and so you're going to get Monday's assignment today. Either way, I extended the assignment, so now everything is due Friday this week. So if you were a little bit behind, you have an extra chance to get caught up. That being said, what we're going to do to start is just a little bit of a review. We kind of covered this and then had a day off. So I want to make sure everybody knows how to do it and is awake and present enough that their homework won't be too much of a challenge. So we're going to go through a few problems together, and then I'm going to let you all just do some work on your own. So first round of problems. These are going to be the easiest ones, simple, straightforward, pretty basic. First one, what is 25% of 240? I want to see you all try this on your own, and then I'll go through how to solve it. Both
Are we
the
typing
long
in
way.
chat?
What?
Are we typing in chat?
Yeah, you use private chat, please. And then after we finish it, we can go through it. Both long way and shorthand. Janie and Gracie, that's correct. Taven, correct. Dawn, correct. Addie, why are you drawing on my screen? Were you gonna write "Go Bucks"? It shouldn't be a percent, Jessica. I assumed so. Not quite, Jessica. Oh, it's starting to get cold in here again. Space heater back in. Yeah, that's correct. Carmen, that's correct. Tristan, get rid of the percent sign and then it's correct.
Literally, all you have to do is divide 240 into 4 parts, because 25% is in 4.
Okay.
You kind of ruined it. For the group, but that's okay.
That's correct. But
so let's go ahead and go through this. 25% of 240. So the long way to do this is to set up a ratio. 25 over 100 equals x over 240. So this is kind of the way we were practicing it on Monday. We set up a proportion, we cross multiply, do all that good stuff. So if you cross multiply this, you would get, hold on, now I got to do some math. 100x equals, is it 6,000? I think that's 6,000. 6,000. Then we divide both sides by 100, and we'll get x equals 60. So this is the long form way to do it. Again, make sure you're setting up your percentage as a fraction on the left side. Percent as fraction. And then your other one equals your part over your whole. And since we know that 240 is the whole number, we're looking for the part. That's going to be our x in this case. This would be the long way to solve this one. A little bit of a quicker way. So Gracie pointed out that 25 over 100 is equal to 1/4. That will make it a little bit easier. Or you can just do 0.25 times 240 for this one, and you'll get the same answer. So let's move on to number 2. This one asks 35 is 20% of what number? Let's see if you can do this one. Good, Janie. Good, Gracie. Dakota, I'm not 100% sure. Did I miss something earlier? Oh, you're talking about Sawyer's fish. I get it. Okay. Emma, Tristan, correct. Addie, correct the second time. I'm assuming that was a typo. Get all of you getting this right. I'm not even going to need to review at this rate. Not quite. Jessica. Addie, you're writing on my screen again. Okay. So for this one, good, Taven. We want to set up our ratio. We've got our percent, which is 20. So we have 20 over 100 equals. Now this time we know our part. We don't know our whole. So we know that we've got 35 over x. And then what we can do, we can cross multiply and then solve it out. So 20x equals 3500. Divide both sides by 20. And this will give us x equals 175. Now, the other way we can solve this one, if we're doing it the shortcut way, is we can take 35 and divide it by 0.2. And that will give us the same answer, 175. Okay, last one. What percent of 80 is 32? No, Jasmine. That is correct, Gracie.
I had a question about this one. Am I allowed to do like the improper fraction for this? Because that's the only way I can think about how to put it down paper.
You can solve it however you want to solve it. I'm not going to make you do it a specific way, but as long as you get to the correct answer.
I'm just saying, like, can I put the answer in as an improper fraction?
No, you need it in a percent.
Okay.
So just divide the improper fraction out.
Yeah, that's fine.
Janie, that's correct. Addie, not quite. Aya, that's correct. Jasmine, because you're in class and you have to be in class because that's what you do with school. Jessica, correct. Sawyer, correct. Jasmine, that means you even more so need to be here. It is not. So Emma, we're looking for a percent this time. Okay, so again, we're going to set up our ratios. This time, we don't know what our percent is. So our x is going to be on top of the percent fraction. So we're going to have x over 100 equals, and then our part is 32, and our whole is 80. Then we can cross multiply, do our thing. We get 80x equals 3,200. Divide both sides by 80. And voila, you'll get 40%. The other way you can do this one is take 32 divided by 80. That'll give you 0.4, and then you can just convert that into a percent. Either of those two ways of doing this work just fine. If you wanted to get really, really complicated with it, you could divide both sides by 8, and then you'd have 4 over 10, and 4/10 you should know is 40%. But that's not one of the ways I would recommend you solve it. So any questions about this first set of questions? If you don't know how to do this, then today when we're working on the homework, you will definitely want to get some help from either me or Barb. Setting up these ratios is going to be really important, and knowing which thing you're looking for is also going to be pretty important here. But this is the majority of what we're doing for this unit. So second round of questions. You go to buy a PS5 for $400, but find that it is 30% off. How much will it cost? So this is where we're getting into the percentage of a quantity. There are two different ways you can approach this problem, but be careful. It's 30% off, which does not mean that it only costs 30%. So I want to see if you guys can figure out how to solve this one, and then I'll talk about it in maybe 2 minutes. Jasmine, did you guess or did you actually do the math? Sawyer, that's correct. No, Jasmine, it's not. Good, Gracie. No, Jessica. It's a pretty similar answer to Jasmine's. I'm confused. Don't give up. So Aya, that's how much the discount's going to be, but that's not how much you're going to pay. Shouldn't, giving up is bad.
If I put enough helium into my body, would I float?
No. You
Well,
would
I mean, well,
you would
if
die of suffocation long before you would float.
Why? It's air.
It's not.
It is just different.
Very
It makes
different.
brain cells, but it's fun.
Okay. Jessica, don't cut yourself or your fingers. Aya, that's correct. Janie, that's correct. Jasmine, no. Okay. I'm glad you weren't trying. Okay, so there are a couple of ways to approach this problem. The way I'm guessing that most of you did was start by, you can make this fraction. So 30 over 100 equals x over 400. You can cross multiply. And then eventually when we solve this out, so this would go to 100 x equals 1200, or is there another zero? There's another zero. We divide both sides by 100 and we get that x equals 120. But this is the discount, not the actual amount that we're going to pay. So we take 400, subtract our 120, and we get that this one is going to be $280. The other way that you could do this one that's a little bit quicker, so you could approach it by saying, okay, if it's 30% off, that means it costs 70% of what it is originally priced at. So you can do 70 over 10, or over 100, sorry, equals x over 400, and solve this, you'll get 280, or just 400 times 0.7, if you're doing the shortcut way. Okay, so I'm assuming that that's still a little bit tricky for some people. So let's look at the next one. It says you try to buy a PS5 online instead and find that it has been marked up 50% by scalpers. How much will this one cost? So this time it costs 50% more than the original price. So Taven, that's the markup. Janie, Addie, that's correct. Taven, you got the percentage right, but remember you need to add that to the original cost. So somebody who just joined. I totally missed that. Gracie, same thing. That's the markup, but you gotta make sure to add in the original amount. Taste it. Okay. That's okay, Addie. No worries. Not quite, Jessica. You didn't divide by 100. So you're at the 100x equals part, and that's the right number there. But Tristan, that's the markup. The first one you said is the markup, Tristan. So then you want to add that to the original. Gracie, I'm
Wait.
not sure how you got that.
I'm confused. What are you saying?
Like that's the amount that they're adding to the original price. But remember, it's 50% more expensive than it was originally.
Oh, okay, I got it.
So
I didn't
you
realize
did,
it was.
yeah, you did 50% of what it originally cost. So Jessica, same thing. That's the markup. That's the amount that it is going to be added to the original.
Well, I know the answer that I just put isn't right, but 400, because you said it's 50% more expensive.
Yeah.
But I thought of something else, and I did 400 divided by 50%, and I got that.
I see. Barb, correct. Okay, so let's start going over this one. So what we want to do is figure out first how much the markup is. So we have $400. Whoops, hold on. Sorry, I did that backwards. Ignore that. We have 50 over 100. I'm actually just going to shorten this to 1 over 2 because it's going to be way easier. Equals x over 400. Multiply this across. 2x equals 400. Divide by 2. So we should have gotten to the point where x equals 200. This is the markup. So this time we're adding 50%. So we could have thought about this as being 150% of the original price. So a lot of you got the 200 part right, which is pretty much right there. Then we just have to add the original price back in. So we add 400, you get $600. So these are more advanced. These are kind of like fancy story problems. If you can solve these comfortably, that means you're probably pretty good with this stuff and you don't really need a whole lot of, or you should be ready for the test. If these are still confusing, that's okay. That's about where you should be at, is where these are a little bit tough. If you, like I said, didn't get the first round, then you're probably going to want to get some help today. Last one, this is a super challenge problem type of thing. So if you can solve this one, then honestly, you'll definitely be fine on the quiz. So this says 13 out of 25 kids attended, oh, I should have said attended math class, but I said showed up originally. Anyway, attended math class on Monday. On Tuesday, 15 out of 25 kids attended. What was the difference in percent of kids attending between Monday and Tuesday? So again, I'm going to give you a minute. Try this on your own. See if you can figure out a way to solve it. And then we'll talk about it in just a little bit.
Mr. Clary.
Yeah.
Just saying, like, you could have made it a little bit harder. Like, even made it like a 45 or 35 or not even a 5, like a 37.
Tristan, I bet it's still going to be pretty hard.
Okay.
Addie, not quite.
I will prove that wrong.
Jessica, that is also that's not even math. That's just Sawyer, that is correct. Janie, that is correct. Jasmine, you're close. Jessica, that's nonsensical. Addie, that's correct. That's true, Jasmine. I appreciate it. Taven,
So-
are you doing the percentages for each time?
So is it asking like what is the difference? Yeah, so it's the difference between the days, right?
Yep, the difference between the 2 days. The difference in percent. Not the difference in number of kids, the difference in percent of kids. And then those of you that have answered this one already, there's a second part to this question, which is on Wednesday, 64% of the kids showed up. Is this more or less than on Tuesday? Good, Tristan.
Yay. See, it's not that very hard. I just had to type it. And I suck
Now,
at
now do the second part.
the second part is much easier.
Then answer it.
Well, okay, I'll say this. If you know
Actually,
the
you
first
you
part,
already
then
wrote yours. Yeah, you wrote yours out, so never mind. Yours, it'll be really easy for you. Addie, that's correct. Jessica, that's correct. It's not the right answer to this problem, but it is true. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is calculate the percentage of kids that showed up on Monday and on Tuesday. So for Monday, we're going to do 13 over 25 equals x over 100. We can do the long form, cross multiplication, all that fun stuff to solve this out. What I'm going to do is just say, all right, we can multiply this by 4. So that means we can multiply this by 4. And we should get
52.
to the right answer. Yeah, so we'll have 52% on Monday. Then on Tuesday, it'll be a pretty similar thing. We're going to set it up the same way. 15 over 25 equals x over 100. Again, we can just multiply this one by 4.
60.
Yes, it will be 60. So we get 60% on Tuesday, 52% on Monday. 60 minus 52 equals 8. So we have an 8% difference between the 2 days. And then the last one, 64% of the kids showed up on Wednesday.
4%
Since we
difference.
only had, since we only had 60% on Tuesday, that means this is more. But we could also calculate it out or just probably guess that we had 16 kids that showed up on Wednesday. So that is all that we're going to do in terms of example problems for today.